Hey guys, Cassie here. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are ripping, we are shipping, and we are doing the Rip It or Ship It booktube tag. Now, if you've been watching my channel for a while, you might be asking yourself, but Cassie, didn't you already do the Rip It or Ship It booktube tag multiple times? To which I would say, yes, dear viewer, I did indeed. I have done the Rip It or Ship It booktube tag. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time saying booktube. I just want to skip the K. I have done the Rip It or Ship It booktube tag before in the past, and I also made my own AuthorTube version of the tag, which I will link down below if you're interested. In that version, instead of using specific character names, I used various character tropes like the mysterious bad boy and the introverted bookish girl. And then we picked one from each cup and decided if we would ship those types of characters together. So it's kind of like a fun writerly spin on the original Rip It or Ship It tag. But today I wanted to film a video that involved cutting up a bunch of character names and putting them in a mug, so I decided why not just do the Rip It or Ship It tag again for funsies while I'm at it, because it's super fun and I enjoy it a lot. So today we have our boy characters in my Whitmore College mug, and we have our girl characters in my World's Best Boss mug, and we're going to pick one from each mug and decide if we would ship this couple together or not. Also, I will say last time I did this, there were some couples that ended up being really weird because of age differences, and it was hard to really decide if I would ship them together because they're like it would be really weird and inappropriate for them to be a couple. So I think this time if I pick a name and it's like a teenager, and then I pick another name and it's like Mr. Darcy or something, I'm probably just gonna not show you that, and I'm just gonna pick a different name instead so that they're kind of similar ages, because it's just too hard to decide if Mr. Darcy should be dating Katniss Everdeen, because obviously no, and that's not really fun to discuss. So anyway, with all of that said, let's get into the game. Female character numero uno is Aurora Marshall from Twisted Fate. Now, Twisted Fate, you might not be familiar with, is a book from a fellow author-tuber. Her name is Jessie Elliott, and I'm currently reading this book right now, so I decided to put the two main characters from that book in the game. So let's see who Aurora is going to be shipped with, potentially, shall we? Gale Hawthorne from The Hunger Games. Okay, so Aurora is a character who's very spunky and sarcastic and maybe like almost a little bit on a cynical level, in my opinion. And Gale, I guess, is sort of similar in some ways. I don't know, I actually could see Aurora being somewhat similar to Katniss in her like rebellious nature, I guess. But I don't know if I like them together. Partially because I don't know if I really like Gale and Katniss together, actually. I think that they're a little too similar in some ways, that they would probably butt heads too much, because they're both very opinionated strongly, and I don't really know if that's necessarily gonna end up being a great relationship. It might be kind of fun to read, but in real life, I don't think that they would necessarily be great together. So I'm gonna go ahead and rip that one. Except I can't actually rip it because I'm doing another tag after this with these same names. So I didn't really think that one through, but whatever. All right, female character number 2 is, got two stuck together, Daisy Winters from Royals. And Daisy Winters is going to be shipped with Tristan Westbrook from Twisted Fate. So Tristan is Aurora's love interest in Twisted Fate. So I got both Twisted Fate people right off the bat. So let's see, Tristan and Daisy. So Tristan's kind of like he's a businessman, very like rich, super hyper confident kind of dude. He kind of reminds me, I'm sorry if this offends the author of this book, I don't know how you feel about these books, but he kind of reminds me a little bit of Christian Grey. Just saying. So let's see, him and Daisy Winters. I could actually see that because Daisy, I think, is a lot like Aurora, who is Tristan's love interest, in her kind of spunky, sassy nature, and Tristan really likes that in Aurora, so I think he would like that about Daisy as well. And actually, I could see some similarities between Tristan and Miles, who is Daisy's love interest in Royals, because they're both rich, they're both kind of overly confident and, what's the word? I don't know, I guess arrogant is kind of the word. Like, they just project overt confidence, both of them, Miles and Tristan. So I could totally see Tristan and Daisy together. I'm not really sure exactly how old Tristan's supposed to be, but I mean, I think he's probably too old for her because in Twisted Fate, Aurora is, I think, in her last year of college, and she's with Tristan, who's out of college, and he's like a grown man running his own company, and Daisy's in high school, so that's a little bit, I think, too big of an age gap, but it's not so extreme to where it would be like really gross and weird. So I'm gonna go ahead and ship them together. Our first ship, Daisy and Tristan, congratulations. I hope you have a very happy life together. Let's pick a boy this time. All right, so our third boy character is, oh my gosh, I keep getting the people from the same books. Miles from Royals. Miles is our third boy character, and our third female character is Rin from The Chaos of Standing Still. Let's see. Right off the bat, I want to say no. Because Rin is kind of in a fragile state of life in The Chaos of Standing Still, and her love interest, Xander, is kind of really good for her in that he's very fun and optimistic and sees the best in things, and that kind of helps her to be more that way as well. Whereas Miles from Royals is kind of the opposite of that. He's sort of like a little bit cynical and moody, and I think he would probably just bring her down, kind of, and I don't think that they would be a very good match for each other. So I'm gonna have to rip that one. All right, next boy is going to be Dexter Morgan from the Dexter series. Now, this is one I might have to pick a couple girls before one is appropriate enough to even be a choice. Oh hey, I got one right off the bat. Sarah Parker from Keep No Record. Sarah Parker is, oh my gosh, this is a hilarious match and I love it. But let me first say, Sarah Parker is the criminal psychologist from my novel, Keep No Record. And what is hilarious about this to me is that Sarah develops a romance of sorts with the main character of Keep No Record, which is Jacob Perry, who is a murderer, and she kind of helps him to see like the error of his ways and kind of grow as a person and find redemption and become a better man. And how great would it be if she did that for Dexter? Because Dexter is also a murderer and he really needs someone like that in his life as well. So I can totally see them together, and that's amazing. And I love it. I almost want to write fan fiction about it. That's how much I love it. All right, let's pick a girl this time. Let's see, we got Bella Swan from Twilight. Ever heard of it? And Bella is going to be shipped with, if I can open it. Oh, that doesn't work. He's far too old for her, and that's weird. I'm gonna pick something else. Peter, Peter Kavinsky from To All the Boys I've Loved Before. Well, see, it's hard because I don't particularly love either of those characters. I think both of them have a lot of very annoying flaws, but I cannot see Bella being interested in someone as immature as Peter. I mean, she's obviously like the boy that she likes out of all the boys she has to choose from in high school, which is apparently everyone, because everyone has a crush on Bella. Of all the boys she has to choose from, she chooses the one who's like 109 years old. So I don't think she would go for someone as young and immature as Peter. So that's gonna be a rip for me. As in, rest in peace to that dead relationship. All right, next woman is Amy Elliott Dunn from Gone Girl. All right, this is gonna be one where I'm gonna have to find a man who's not a teenage boy. Sorry, imagining Amy with a teenage boy is really creepy and gross. Does that work? I mean, technically, I guess. Edward Cullen from Twilight. I mean, technically he's not really a teenager. It's still creepy, but let's think about it for a second. So, Edward definitely would not want to be with Amy. I mean, maybe I just shouldn't have even put Amy in here. It's not really a very good choice. I'm not sure if I would really ship her with anybody because she's a terrible human being. But I guess if we're talking about Amy, like at the beginning of Gone Girl, before you realize that she's a terrible human being, I guess I could maybe see them together. I could see them maybe getting together and like him being intrigued by her, but I can't see the relationship lasting very long. Maybe he would just eat her and then one less terrible human in the world. So sure, I guess I'll ship that. All right, male character number, whatever this number is. Aspen Ledger? Ledger? I don't know, from the Selection series. All right. And his lady is going to be Layla from the Savior's Champion. All right, let me think about that. Yes. Immediately, yes. They would be great together. I think a lot of the good qualities that Aspen has are also similar to the good qualities that Tobias has. He's very brave and has a strong sense of like moral justice, and yeah, they're pretty similar characters. So I think Layla for sure would be good for him. Although I'm not gonna spoil anything, but I do much prefer Aspen with someone like who he ends up with in the Selection series, because I think Layla's a little not quite as soft and sweet as I would like to see him with in a partner. That was a weird way to say that, but I'm trying not to spoil things, so I'm having a hard time. But you know, they're not like perfect. That's not who I would choose for them to be with, but I think they would be pretty good together. Layla's pretty badass, and she's a little different than who I would picture Aspen being with, but I could picture Layla liking Aspen because he is similar to Tobias in a lot of ways. So I guess we'll ship that. It'll be a soft ship. All right, our next lady is Jenna Miller from Broken Together. Now, Jenna is a character that none of you know because Broken Together is my current work in progress. It is a sequel to Keep No Record. So I will tell you, Jenna is she's kind of spunky and sassy and like a little bit badass, but also kind of in a way where she's sort of overcompensating for not being very emotionally, I almost said emotionally stable. She's not like unstable. unstable, whatever. She's not emotionally unstable, she's just not very comfortable addressing her emotions, and some of her kind of sassiness or flippant like attitude is because of not wanting to really delve deep into emotional things because it makes her uncomfortable. So that's just a little bit about Jenna, since you have no way of knowing anything about this character at this point. And Jenna is going to be shipped with okay, Jacob Perry from Keep No Record. That is exactly perfection. So I'm not gonna say any more details, but yes, I obviously ship them together. We'll just leave it at that. You'll have to read the book when it comes out to hear more about why they would be great together. That's so funny. I was thinking when I wrote out these names that a lot of the people I picked like them, and then I also wrote their love interest in there, so I was thinking it'd be funny if I just picked two people who actually are together in a book, because obviously they should be shipped together unless you don't like their relationship. But yes, I obviously like that one because I wrote it, so. All right, next boy is Nick Dunn from Gone Girl. All right, so he's a grown man, so this one might be tricky. Oh, perfect. Elizabeth Bennet from Pride and Prejudice. Now, I mean perfect in the sense that they're both adults, so I don't have to pick a new name. Not so perfect in the whole shipping them together thing. See, the thing is, Nick, like Amy in Gone Girl, is not a very good person. Like, I don't really like him, and I really like Lizzie, so in that sense, I wouldn't want to see them together. But could I see them together? I mean, maybe, but I don't know. I think, you know what? No, I don't think so, because I think Nick is too arrogant. And I know Mr. Darcy's really arrogant too, but he kind of redeems himself and has more like depth deep down. That's where depth usually lies, deep down. But Nick, I feel like, doesn't really have as much depth, and he is just a little more shallow and also arrogant. So I don't think that Elizabeth would like him, and I definitely wouldn't like them as a couple. So I'm gonna rip that one for sure. All right, let's pick another boy here. We've got Mr. Darcy from Pride and Prejudice. In case you didn't know what Mr. Darcy's from, if you've been living under a rock your entire life. And, oh, gross. No, I can't do that at all. She's like the youngest person I think I even have written down in here, so definitely not. Okay, there we go. Deborah Morgan from the Dexter series. That actually worked out pretty well. I think those are all, I think I've gotten through all the like adult characters I have in here, so I didn't have to choose new names for very many of these. So anyway, Mr. Darcy and Deborah, let's see. I mean, yeah, actually, I could see them together very easily. I mean, it's kind of hard because Mr. Darcy's from a historical fiction, so it's a little bit hard to like mash the worlds together in my mind. But if he was a character in modern times, I think he would really like someone like Deborah, because Deborah has some similar qualities to Elizabeth in that she's very independent and strong-willed. Deborah's also very, I think, a little softer on the inside than Lizzie is, because she's more like, kind of like how I described my character, Jenna Miller, that she's tough exterior, but it's kind of to overcompensate for not really knowing how to handle her emotions very well. I think that's true of Deborah also. So yeah, but I think Darcy and Deb would be pretty good together. I mean, actually, I don't know if they would be like necessarily a great couple. They might butt heads a lot, but I could definitely see them together. Like, I could see a book being written about these two characters falling in love, and I would really enjoy reading it. So I'm gonna say yes to that one. All right, we've got quite a few more. Let's keep going then. Star Carter from The Hate U Give. And we will ship Star with Prince Maxon Shreve from the Selection series. Ooh, that's interesting. Let me think about that for a sec. I don't know. I feel like it's hard because Star's kind of one of the only characters I think that I wrote in here that isn't from a romance novel. Like, there's not really romance at all in The Hate U Give. Well, I guess like a little bit, but not very much. So it's hard to know what kind of a character she is in a romantic mindset, if that makes sense. I know who she is as a person, but it's hard to picture her like in a relationship with a man. Okay, well, I guess let me think of her and her boyfriend together. What were they like? I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, she's just a great person. I like her character a lot. I feel like Maxon would like her because I feel like most people would like her. She's just a good person. She's very strong and like independent, and she like knows who she is and is who she is without, you know, unapologetically, which is a really beautiful thing. As far as if she would like Maxon, I don't know. I think she would have a hard time, maybe even more so than America did. She would probably have a hard time with Maxon's family's like prejudice against lower class individuals and just the weird like politics of the nation. But I also could see Star being someone like, she obviously, from the story of The Hate U Give, she stands up for what's right and kind of sacrifices her own safety at times and her own comfort to stand up for a good cause. So I could see her maybe wanting to be the Queen of Aaliyah in the same way that America did, to kind of make a better society for their nation. So yeah, I could see that being really interesting. So I'm gonna say yes to that one. All right, let's pick a boy first this time. We've got Peeta Mellark from The Hunger Games. We haven't picked Katniss yet, so maybe it's fate. It's meant to be. Nope. Oh my gosh. No, I hate everything. Lara Jean Song Covey from To All the Boys I Loved Before. Hell freaking no. Stay away from Peeta. I'll cut you. No, but seriously, that is not okay. I'm not even gonna think about it for 2 seconds. The answer is no. End of story. All right, next boy. Clay Jensen from 13 Reasons Why. We also haven't picked Hannah Baker yet, so may the odds be ever in your favor, Clay. America Singer from the Selection series. All right, well, let's think about that then. As much as I love both of these characters, I'm gonna say no. I think Clay is not tough enough for her, I guess. I feel like America would be attracted to someone who has more, like, I don't know, she's very, very strong-willed and very, I think, partially just because of the story she's in, her story is very much about something much bigger than herself, and I feel like that's the kind of person she is, that she has like big things in her future. And I feel like being with Clay, like, I think he's nice and he would support her and stuff, but I just don't feel like they're really equal in the type of people they are and what they have going for them in life. So I don't know. I mean, maybe that sounds too mean to Clay, because I really love Clay as a character. I think he's very sweet and kind and like tender-hearted, but I don't think that that's necessarily the type of person America should be with, because I was a big shipper of America and Maxon, and Maxon is nothing like Clay. So I think she needs someone more like Maxon than Clay. So I'm gonna rip that one, metaphorically. All right, I just looked right into the cup, so gotta mix these up a little bit. Second to last girl character, we have Katniss Everdeen from the Hunger Games. I don't remember what boys are in here, and I'm trying not to remember. So, Tobias Kaya from the Savers Champion. Interesting, because earlier I kind of compared Tobias to Gale. Didn't I? Was that him? I think that was him. I think I picked up Gale and Layla, if I remember correctly. I don't remember. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. Tobias is, I guess, man, I don't know. It's hard for me to want Katniss to be with anyone but Peeta. This is like the one character that I just love Peeta so freaking much that nobody else is good enough. So I don't know if I can ship Katniss with anybody if it's not Peeta. But if it has to be someone other than Peeta, I guess I could see it being Tobias. Tobias and Peeta have some similarities. They're both, you know, they care about kind of, in some ways, like sticking it to the man a little bit. You know, there are a lot of similarities between the Hunger Games and the Saviors Champion as stories. And I think Tobias and Katniss actually have kind of the same reaction, I guess, to being a part of the competition they're a part of. They both kind of don't agree with it and they don't believe in it and they think it's like a crappy thing and they want to like stick it to the man. They're very, very similar characters now that I think about it, Tobias and Katniss. So I don't know though if that means they'd be good together or that they wouldn't be good together because they're too similar. I could really see this one going either way because I think it could be really beautiful to see a story where Katniss is with someone like Peeta, who's like a little softer and kind of balances out her tough exterior. But it also could be really fun to read a story of just two badass people who want to like defy the government together. Like that could be fun. And I think in that sense, Tobias is more like Gale than Peeta because Gale and Katniss kind of have similar views in that. So I feel like this would be similar to if Gale and Katniss ended up together, which again, I'm never going to want Katniss to be with anyone but Peeta, so that's hard for me. But if it's gonna be someone else, I think Tobias is not a terrible option. So I'll say yes to that one. All right, this is our last couple, and since I already know who the girl is, because I remembered, I'm gonna pick her first, and she is Hannah Baker from 13 Reasons Why, right? Yes. And Hannah Baker is going to be shipped with Xander Hale from The Chaos of Standing Still. I forgot about him. Yeah, you know, I could totally see that, actually, because Rin in The Chaos of Standing Still, who's Xander's love interest, she's going through a lot of really hard things emotionally. She has some mental barriers she's trying to overcome with anxiety and sort of OCD and dealing with the loss of a friend. And Hannah, obviously, is a very like emotionally tortured kind of character. So I think someone like Xander Hale coming into her life would probably be really beneficial for her. So yeah, sure. I think that would be good. I think Xander Hale would be good for Hannah Baker. All right, so that is gonna be it for this week's video. I hope you enjoyed watching this little game. It's super fun. If you haven't done it yet and you're a YouTube creator here, I would really recommend you do the Rip It or Ship It tag. It's such a blast. And if you wanna check out my AuthorTube version of the game, you can look at that down below in the links. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see y'all next time and have a great day. Bye.